Douglas for Cal Boston College. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Taylor. And the day continues here in the ACC in Chestnut Hill, Boston College to be exact. You're watching the ACC on ESPN on an absolutely perfect fall afternoon here in the Boston area. Today, Boston College opens up their ACC home slate against the Cal Bears, playing their first ACC game of the season. And today we are expecting to see two of the bright young signal callers in this league. Gwes-eas for Cal, and he's going to take on Dylan Lonergan, the transfer from Alabama in his first season here at Chestnut Hill, and he's put up some big-time numbers through his first 3 games. Hi, everybody. Alongside Max Brown, I'm Chris Cotter. Max, as Taylor and the crew were saying, this has been a wild couple of days in the ACC, and it promises to continue this afternoon.
Yeah, Virginia started the party last night with a huge upset over Florida State, and everyone's talking about it through the Florida State lens, but how big of that is it for year 4, Tony Elliott, to get that kind of win? I don't want to be the guy that said, I saw that coming, but we had him week 1,
right,
and you could tell Chandler Morris and that offense was different. Duke's getting after Syracuse right now. Wake Forest and Jake Dickert's squad getting after Georgia Tech. So the middle tier of the ACC, awfully competitive.
And it's big, too. A lot of teams in that middle tier. And these two teams today want to get above that middle tier. If they're going to do that, they're going to have to rely on young signal callers, these two quarterbacks, the true freshman at Cal, and then the transfer from Alabama, Lonergan. They put up big numbers. Sangapolatelli, 4 games under his belt, 3 games for Lonergan. So you see the numbers. Look at the 9 touchdowns to 1 interception for Lonergan. He's been very efficient at Boston College, but I want to get your thoughts on the freshman from Hawaii first.
Yeah, the Cal Bears found themselves a good one. Jaron Kiave Sangapolatelli is a special one. He does a great job flushing out to his left. He's big, but he can get on the move. Does an excellent job dispersing the ball to his different playmakers. And oftentimes the trait that is the hardest to get over for young quarterbacks is getting used to the anticipation of college football. That seems to come natural to him. He's throwing receivers open, not waiting for receivers to get open. This guy is very special, and get used to saying that name for a long time to come.
He completed his first 9 passes of his career in his first game. First 3 games were outstanding, coming off his first poor performance against San Diego State in San Diego last week, looking to bounce back. For Dylan Lonergan, meanwhile, he's had a bye week now to kind of put that Stanford loss behind him and get ready for this one.
Yeah, he's flown a little bit under the radar. If Kiave Sangapolatelli has been getting all the national headlines, Lonergan's ability to manipulate the defense with his eyes is very much a strong suit. You're going to see it right here, a little wheel route by the running back. He knows exactly where to go with the football. He knows what this offense wants to be, and you know, this BC offense last year had Thomas Castellanos as their quarterback, who's obviously doing great things with Florida State this year. But I think Lonergan unlocks something in this passing attack. His ability to get through progressions, I think, is a strong suit. And the stat that jumps out for me there, 73% completion percentage. That's knowing where to go with the football and getting the ball out of his hands.
It's a team that relies on the pass. They want to run the football a little more effectively. Let's see if they can do that offensively in this game. Kendra Douglas is the 3rd member of our crew. She's standing by with more on Dylan Lonergan.
Well, talking with quarterback Dylan Lonergan, he was telling me that transferring here was pretty seamless, and mainly because of his relationship with head coach Bill O'Brien. O'Brien recruited Lonergan when he was at Alabama, and he was telling me that the relationship between the two just really worked out. They were able to gel with each other. O'Brien agreed with that, even joking and saying that his mom, Dylan's mom, was a great cook. She made them an 8-course Italian meal when they would ever go to visit him. Now, that connection has come full circle with Lonergan leading this Eagles offense.
Wouldn't mind having 1 or 2 of those courses myself at this point in time right now. Apparently Dylan's mom is a heck of a cook, and Bill O'Brien said he was there on that recruiting trip with Nick Saban, and he said all I had to do when I was on recruiting trips with Nick Saban is sit back and watch and learn.
And it sounds like eat too when he's got Dylan Lonergan, but at home's been a different story for Bill O'Brien's squad. They're looking to respond after 2 tough road trips. Michigan State 3 weeks ago, at the farm in Stanford 2 weeks ago. Got a bye week to get right. It's been a different team under Bill O'Brien here at home. And for Justin Wilcox, you kind of forget it's his 9th season at the helm for the Cal Bears. Somewhat flown under the radar, has had to deal with a lot being the head coach there. But they're looking to respond as well. The energy with both these staffs was very similar this week in terms of frustrated, after their last game. Felt like those were games they should have won. For Justin Wilcox and Cal, they got snuck up on by San Diego State, who blew them out. Today is all about which team can respond.
Cal won the toss. They defer to the second half, so Chase Meyer, transfer from Penn State, will put a big toe into it. And TJ Green, waiting back with his heels on his own goal line, awaits the kick. Meyer puts it in play, and we're underway. Green's got to get a chance to return this one. Beyond the 20, puts a foot in the ground, spins out of a tackle, and is still on his feet. Flag down as Green finally gets ushered out of bounds at the 36. 35 yards on return. Let's check the marker. TJ Green's been banged up, so the freshman making the most of his first opportunity on a kickoff return on the season. But let's check the marker. Might have gotten some help. Our referee today, Riley Johnson. We get to hear from him early.
During the return, personal foul, grabbing the face mask, kicking team number 20. 15-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. First down.
So the return stands. 15 yards later, we're at midfield for the first offensive possession for Dylan Lonergan and company.
And like we said in the open, he's somewhat flown under the radar. Was a number 6 quarterback, QB recruit, coming out of high school, found his way to Alabama in what was a stacked QB room there. Julian Sayin was there, Ty Simpson, Alabama starter, Eli Holstein, now Pitt starter, and then Jalen Milroe, now in the National Football League. But so far, almost at the 1,000-yard mark, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception. The limited turnovers and the high completion percentage is what Bill O'Brien wants to see with this offense.
Our officials making sure we're all on the same page.
Under further review to see if there was a signal given for a fair catch.
Now they're reviewing this return all the way back to the 1-yard line from TJ Green. They're going to check to see if a signal was made, which would have indicated a fair catch. I was going to comment on those photos of Dylan Lonergan. He probably wants us to get rid of the one of him in Brookwood.
It's a lot of hair.
High school kid.
That's a lot of hair. That's the type of photo, though, as you get older, you'll be envious of that thick hair, you know?
Maybe. The alpaca look.
God, that's a lot. That's what the cool kids are doing. It's like that bunched up hair right in the front. I got no room to talk, though, because I had a Napoleon Dynamite fro when I was a teenager. So there's some good pics to pull if I got put on there.
Let me start digging for some of those. Let's take another look at this and see if a fair catch signal was made.
It's a point of emphasis. Can't make any motion above your head, whether it's the returner or any of his teammates as well. Sometimes you'll get a teammate that gets flagged there. I don't see anything there whatsoever. I don't even see enough there for why they would even review it. So it has me thinking, I wonder if it was someone else.
Yeah, teammate. Did have Alex Broom, was kind of the second man back on the other side of the field. Let's get the word from Riley Johnson.
During the kick, there was a fair catch signal given, but not by the player that caught the ball. When the player caught the ball, it was dead at the 1-yard line. However, the personal foul, face mask penalty will be added on from the 1-yard line. Boston College football, first down.
So the fair catch signaled by a teammate at the 1, where he caught it at the 1.
Yeah, we didn't catch the number of who that was, but I mean, obviously a huge mistake. You're losing 35 yards in field position right there.
Yes.
15 minutes, thank you.
And obviously the 10 seconds that ran off during the return now will be put back on the clock. 15 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Taking us a couple of minutes, partner, but we're ready to go. Lonergan rolls the pocket. It's Bond, incomplete though, had a foot on the line, and Bond is one of the playmakers that Lonergan is going to rely on.
He's the go-to guy. He's the receiver 1. They'll move him all around. Number 11, who just caught that pass. They also got Reed Harris, big body on the outside, 6'4" receiver. Jaden Skeet is out, their 3rd receiver. So they'll have VJ Wilkins get elevated duty, and then 17, Jeremiah Franklin, very capable tight end, really does everything, blocks, He's out in the out in pass concepts as well. Turbo Richard, their running back, had some ball security issues the past couple of games. He's very much their guy. They're looking to get him back on track.
Bond just had a foot on the chalk, couldn't get one in bounds, so it was an incomplete pass to start the game. Lonergan again looking for Bond and finds him at the 20. Spins away from the tackler and gets it just outside the 25. Aiden Monetai was there for the tackle for Cal. Bond is putting up ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, and it was fun. I went back and listened to his ACC media days. He represented the Boston College there as their player, and you can tell he's got a chip on his shoulder in terms of feeling like he's under the radar. This is his 5th year at BC, but so far this season, already having 29 receptions, now 31 after 2 to start this game. He's gonna have an awfully productive year.
3rd and 1, and they use the power back, Turbo Richard, to move the sticks. Richard, 5'8" and 207 pounds. He's got that low center of gravity.
Yeah, and so much has been made. You almost feel for the guy about the ball security issues these past couple of weeks. But that's how you know you're a great running back, even when you're having that. He's had 2 fumbles on the 1-yard line. They've emphasized ball security all week, but he's their guy going into this season. 43 carries as well. I really like their backup running back, Jordan McDonald, as well as a change of pace guy.
Lonergan to throw again. As a receiver, that's Harris. Brought down by Paco Austin, but Lonergan is spreading the ball around and he's on target.
And his playmakers, I mean, oftentimes some of the receivers we see are interchangeable with teams. These guys very much have distinct skill sets. Reed is very much the big body guy, 6'5", 217. He's going to operate that outside lane and is a tough matchup on the outside there for Brett Austin, the corner for Cal.
Second down and 7. They give to Richard. Busts through the initial tackle, but gets popped at the 40. That 5-yard gain, though, will be enough to move the sticks. Drew Polidor, safety on the tackle, transfer from Montana State.
Yeah, on the flip side, if Boston College is trying to establish the run game, Cal defensive-wise, their defensive line has been challenged. They felt like they played really good week 1 versus Oregon State, very physical, what a Justin Wilcox defense wants to be. Last week, though, got complacent versus San Diego State. They've challenged that group to raise their level of play.
Again to Richard. Testing the middle of that Cal defense, picks up 4 on first down. That was ugly last week at San Diego State, a 34-0 loss.
Uncharacteristic, too. This is a Cal team throughout 9 years of Justin Wilcox. They've hung their hat on their defensive play. Hasn't always been pretty offensive-wise. They found a quarterback this year. If the defense can get right, this can be a good team.
Lonergan fakes the handoff. As a receiver, Bond makes the catch out of bounds at about the 40. 16 yards.
And we're seeing right away the different routes that Lewis Bond can get to. He's had an out route, he's had a comeback, he's had a hitch, and then right here it's a deep over. Nice job by Lonergan being patient, allowing that route to get into the green grass. And you can tell right away what the game plan and the emphasis was early. Feature number 11.
Now he's in motion. Fake the handoff to him. Lonergan tried to get it to Harris. He was covered well by Uluave. Inside linebacker, number 0 in white, team captain. The only permanent team captain on this team. They vote for game team captains, but Uluave is captain every game.
He's special. Team's leading tackler, really flies around, gets it done in coverage like we just saw right there, and then is great in the run game as well. And a defense that lost a lot of pieces around it. Teddy Buchanan was the other linebacker. He's in the National Football League. They had 3 secondary players get drafted this past year, but Olave has been the staple right there in the heart of the defense.
10th play of this drive to open the game for BC. Lonergan stays in the pocket, finds Bond for a short gain. He'll pick up about 4. It'll bring up 3rd and 6. Luke Farrelly again from the linebacker spot, making his 2nd tackle of the game.
We were talking before the game. Their kicker Lombardo was hitting 51 easy pregame. This is right around the area where maybe it's 4 downs. Does that impact your play call? But 3rd and 6, you have to think they're going to pass this football. Trust Lonergan to get through his progressions. I've been impressed throughout the season of if the 1st or 2nd read isn't there, he does a nice job getting to his 3rd and 4th read.
Jordan McDonald was split. Now he's in the backfield. He'll stay in the block. Lonergan has a receiver open. That's Harris again down to the 15. Cam Sidney in coverage, but Lonergan just stepped up into the pocket, delivered a strike to Harris.
Stepped up in the pocket, feeling the pocket, staying patient too. That's 2 throws. The one on the deep over to Lewis Bond, and then right there at dig route, Reed Harris going to come into the picture. Taking the hit from the defensive lineman, delivering an accurate throw. Lonergan is sharp so far on this first drive.
Bond in motion. Richard has it inside the 10, finally dragged down at about the 6 by Farrelly. They love to use Turbo Richard out of the backfield. Came into this game with 12 catches in 3 games and a couple of touchdowns.
And this is the play we had in the open. Dylan Lonergan on a little running back wheel route. It's a nice blitz by Cal. Keep an eye on that today. Justin Wilcox and this defense, led by his defensive coordinator Terrence Brown and Vic Soto. They'll bring a vast pressure package into each game. Different fronts, bringing safeties, bringing corners. The ability for Turbo Richard to get his head around and Lonergan to understand what the defense has given him is key in this game.
Lonergan, he'll keep it himself. Inside the 5, touchdown.
The picture-perfect opening drive for the Boston College Eagles. Wasn't necessarily expecting the QB run game from Dylan Lonergan, but it showed out there. A little zone read. He's got Lewis Bond into the flat. Says, no thank you, I'll take it myself. That was a superb opening drive for the entire offense, led by their quarterback.
Luca Lombardo. Sounds like he would appreciate some of that cooking from Dylan Lonergan's mom. Splits the uprights. Boston College takes the opening kick, marches down the field. Lonergan finds Pater. Max, this is how you open things up in your first ACC home game. 12 plays right off the opening kick, 84 yards, just under 6 minutes off the clock.
It's the type of drive you want when you're just scrimmaging against your own defense. They're going to read the defensive end right here, and then they got a receiver, Bond, working into the flat. Defensive end crashes down. Lonergan's out. No one picks him up. They pick up the receiver instead, and he's able to get in. You're not accounting for Lonergan's legs when you're looking at the numbers offensively. It's an excellent play design and a good job of QB utilizing his legs. And Bond as a decoy with the defense focusing on him.
First rushing touchdown of his career here at BC for Dylan Lonergan. O'Brien and the Brain Trust obviously very happy about that opening drive, and now the challenge is defensively against this dynamic quarterback for the Cal Bears. The Irishman Andy Quinn. Kick it off. Jacob DeJesus. He's pretty dangerous himself with the ball in his hands. 21 and white, stands by in his own end zone. Low line drive kick. DeJesus just going to opt to let this one bounce into the end zone. And we'll get an opportunity for our first look at Jerry Kiawe's Sangapolotele.
Coming from Hawaii, set the career state record, which is saying something with guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Dylan Gabriel, Marcus Mariota coming out of the state. He's the dude that had that prolific high school career. And then Jared Goff, last time a true freshman signal caller started for Cal, and this season he's been great. Did have the 2 picks last game, but even when you turn on that film, he's making some big league throws. I said it in the open. He's throwing guys open, very much making high-level collegiate throws.
To give to Raphael. Flag down behind the play. Let's check the marker as Raphael picks up about 3. Kendrick Raphael, the transfer from NC State.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And they'll back up 10. Call going against Jordan Spasovic-Moko.
Yeah, they love their quarterback. I think they're still trying to figure out what they have at the skill player position. Raphael's the transfer coming on. You mentioned Jacob DeJesus. He's an All-American return man, transfer from UNLV. Tron Grizel, former walk-on. He's the outside tall receiver. Hampers, another transfer from Idaho. And then Mason Minnie, they really like, another transfer from Idaho. Plays that H-back tight end position. They get him involved in a lot of flat routes in the passing game.
There's Minnie in motion. BC showing a little pressure, and they bring it. Raphael trying to make him pay. Gets out beyond the 20. Picks up about 6 of the 10 yards they lost on the holding call.
Yeah, this running back room, Raphael won the job coming out of camp. You got L.J. Johnson, another transfer from SMU. Brandon Hyde Jr., transfer from UTSA. Remember, Jaden Ott was their star running back a year ago, was the best running back in the transfer portal, now at Oklahoma. That was a big void they had to fill in this offseason.
Second and about 14. Sangapolatele, his first passing attempt of the day, gets it off. Intercepted! Picked off by Omar Thornton.
This is an excellent job by Omar Thornton, driving on a dig route. Beats the tight end to his spot. We were just talking about it. Mason Minnie, they like getting him involved in the pass game. That's always the risk for a young quarterback when you call that dig route. If you have too many hitches and those safeties can bite on it, they can come up with an interception. That's an excellent job knowing your responsibility, triggering, and coming up with a huge turnover for your defense.
Thornton's first interception of the year sets up BC deep into Cal territory. Empty backfield for Lonergan, looking to throw on first down. Flush from the pocket, just gonna have to throw this one away. TJ Bowlers applying the pressure and forcing Lonergan on the run.
It's a nice job by Cal getting pressure with 4. Keep in mind, this Boston College offensive line is having to figure out their lineup too. You lost 2 starting offensive linemen a year ago to the NFL, both of which were draft picks. They're shuffling around 8 or 9 guys. There's been some different lineups. Jude Bowery, their normal left tackle, was a late scratch. He's not healthy, so having to find their way there.
Richard up the middle, cuts it back outside, inside the 10, and he'll score.
Right when I mentioned the offensive line, they do an excellent job. Open up the runways for Turbo Richard. Excellent block coming back too by Jeremiah Franklin, their tight end. And then once you get Richard to the second level, he did the rest. Boston College has wasted no time. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Lombardo perfect on the PAT. The sophomore from Charlotte. Kicked in the afterburners after bouncing it outside. All Eagles early. BC taking advantage of the turnover, needing just 2 plays to score to take this 14-0 lead. You think about the way the ACC schedule goes, you got to go out west sometimes if you're one of the teams on the East Coast and vice versa. 2 weeks ago, this Boston College team had to make the trip to Stanford. We know what happened in that game. It didn't end well for the Eagles. This week, Cal had to make that long trip. This is the first and second longest trips in the ACC that any team has to make, and Cal has gotten off to a slow start here today, down 14 early. Lombardo puts this one high and deep. DeJesus will let it bounce over his head. Kendra's on the field with more on Cal's traveling to the East Coast.
told me when I caught up with inside linebacker Kate Uluave, he told me that his favorite part is actually the sleeper seats on the plane, and that the team agrees that they have an extra Friday that really helps them adjust. Kate said that the staff does just a great job in keeping them hydrated and ready. So talking with college players and some of these guys, they feel well prepared coming into this game.
Raphael, big hole up the middle, bounces off a would-be tackler, picks up about 8. Yeah, those 30 lying down seats on that charter coming from Cal Berkeley over here to Boston.
And it's a merit thing, too. You got to produce on the field to get one of those 30 lay-down seats. I remember when I was playing, it was always the list to be on the massage list. Top 30 guys got massaged
really had a rough
before
life
the games.
As a college player.
Hey, I never made the list because I was a backup quarterback most of my career, but that was always the you're checking snap counts to make sure you're making that in the training room.
That was the carrot. Good run on first down. Jared to throw. As a receiver out there, catch made after the big hit. Tron Grizel came down with it. 29 yards for the fifth-year senior. He took a shot to hang on, too.
You said it. To high point it, go over the corner, and then wear the hit from the safety. And, man, this Cal offense has done this consistently every week. Those 50-50 balls, JKS trusting his receiver to go up and make a play, and they do that. That's tight coverage, just better offense.
Raphael, good vision to bounce it outside. Almost eluded the tackle of Marcellus Townsend, but he makes it after 4 yards. Coming up tonight at 7:30 Eastern on the ACC Network, Stanford's going to host San Jose State in Palo Alto. That's the Bill Walsh legacy game. Walsh, who, of course, San Jose State alum, head coach of Stanford on 2 separate occasions. A lot of interest in that one. The Walsh family and those fan bases in the Bay Area. Pitch on the end around. Good pickup on 2nd down and 7. Going to be a little bit shy of the first down, so a 3rd and short.
I like that design. You line up everyone to the boundary, the short side of the field, and then you use an orbit motion, meaning the receiver going behind the quarterback, behind the running back. There's so much space to the field. Good design there right there by Justin Wilcox's offense. New offensive coordinator Brian Harsin, the former Boise State and Auburn head coach, now calling plays for Cal.
Give it to L.J. Johnson. Crashes through the middle, 1st down. Johnson, a little bit of a bigger back at 5'10", 215. He'll move the sticks, so a good answer here from Cal after turning it over on their first offensive possession. Down 14, mounting a drive here now into BC territory. There's Brian Harsin. You can see him just to the left of that, the end of the window there.
Right there. Popular name in the college football ranks. Justin Wilcox's 5th OC since he's been here.
Nothing doing for Jacob DeJesus. They want to get him the ball in a lot of different areas, but they don't want to get him the ball there with all those red shirts around him. So Darius McConnell led the way, and it's a big loss.
Trying to use that similar action they had a couple plays ago to Kendrick Raphael, this time with Jacob DeJesus. We said it in the first drive. DeJesus, All-American return man at UNLV. They picked him up in the transfer portal. Elite specialist. The task is trying to find unique ways to get the ball in his hands. He's a slot receiver. Here we're seeing him lined up in the backfield, whatever it takes to get the rock in his hands.
Sangapolitelli, there's the rock in his hands inside the 25. Cameron Martinez on the stop, so they get a big chunk and then some of the yards they lost on 1st down.
The nice little Texas route is what they call it. Lined up in the backfield, cutting across the face of the linebacker. Again, trying to get a mismatch. DeJesus' speed and quickness on a linebacker's size. Good creativity from this Cal offense. That's what Brian Harsin brings. A lot of shifts, a lot of motions, a lot of eye candy from the Cal Bears.
Sangapolitelli to throw on 3rd down. The left-hander going to his tight end. Can't make the catch, but he had a defender draped all over him. That was KP Price, the safety. And Mason Minnie was carrying him into the end zone.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. and an automatic first down.
The accuracy of this throw creates the penalty. He paints this on a shoulder. You talk about back shoulder, that is literally a back shoulder, hitting that shoulder pad. If that's an inaccurate throw, I don't know if you get that PI. We said it a couple plays ago, but Dron Kiave-Songopolo-Tele, very accurate down the field, always gives his playmakers a chance to make a play on the ball.
First and goal. Raphael bounces into an offensive lineman on his own team, but bounces it outside. Can't get into the end zone. Ooh. All kinds of flags. That's going to be a face mask. As Raphael loses his helmet, that was brutal.
This looked like a violent face mask, hence why he's walking off the field with his helmet.
Defense number 15.
Remember, if your helmet comes off,
automatic first down.
Man,
and number 1 does not have to come out of the game due to the foul.
I was just about to say he can come back in the game. That being said, this is maybe L.J. Johnson territory for Cal. His big 225-pound frame. Number 11 in the backfield, as we're seeing here.
Hugh Hutchins got a hold of that face mask. You're right, L.J. Johnson is in the backfield. Polo-Tele under center, and he'll hand it to Johnson, but we get flags and a whistle before the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Spasovis Moko again on the call. It's a costly 5 yards.
Totally changes your playbook. Instead of being in halfback dive, quarterback sneak range, fullback dive, now maybe do you throw it? This is also an area where sometimes they like rolling JKS out to his left. With the ball being on the left hash, harder to do that. Can he roll out to his right?
Johnson in the middle. Tries to get to the goal line and does. Did he get in? They're going to mark him just shy. Good, powerful run by L.J. Johnson.
Powerful run, right behind their 6'4", 320-pound right guard, Siape Vadakani. It's a great job, especially off the penalty, getting that yardage back. At first glance, it looked like that ball crossed the plane. They're not going to give it to him.
Second and goal. He gets stopped. Omar Thornton in the backfield.
Yeah, you see those safeties triggering right away. Thornton wasn't even thinking about JKS's legs. Here's what I'm talking about. The counter off of a safety blitzing that aggressively is pull the ball and get on the edge. Would not surprise me even if they do that here, trying to get JKS's legs involved.
How about Devin Brown's legs involved? They'll bring in the backup quarterback, 13, the transfer from Ohio State. 10th play of the drive. Brown gives it to Johnson. Off right tackle, stuffed. What are you doing here? This has been a great drive for Cal. Do you put points on the board on the road? You're already down 14. Are you going for it?
I want to see what kind of spot they get, because if it's inside a yard, you got to go for it. If it's a full 2 yards, I mean, you got to go for it. To me, it's a mindset drive. You've had no momentum on your side, setting a tone for your offense, trust in what your offense is. We've been saying all day the best player on this field right now is number 3. You put the ball in his hands.
Timeout, Cal. Coach Wilcox and company want to talk things over. When we come back, 4th and goal for the Bears.
First charge of the half.
Offensive coordinator Brian Harsin, former Boise State and Auburn head coach, with the headset on, trying to finish off this drive with a touchdown. Began on their own 25-yard line, following Boston College's quick score on the turnover.
Be interesting to see what he does. BC knows that JKS wants to flush out to his left, and Cal's subbing different personnel groups in and out, even coming out of a timeout. They had confusion. Now Boston College is bringing in 2 new defensive linemen and subbing guys out. All sorts of movement coming in.
Yeah, 55, Quan Williams has got to get in there. Sangapolatelli under center. 4th down and goal. Tight end in motion. They give it to Johnson. Did he get in? Officials haven't given us a signal yet. His teammates seem to think he did. He did.
You know, that was an excellent job, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Harsin did that on purpose, the late personnel change, because when you're Boston College looking from up top, you can count the personnel they have in the huddle. You break out, then you switch it last minute. It forces Boston College to switch. That's excellent coaching by Justin Wilcox's staff to ensure a touchdown.
Now what do we got here? A little trickeration, a little line up. They got the kicker split wide to the right. Now Honore is the holder. He moves everybody over. Kicker Chase Meyer comes in. Well, BC's defensive coordinator, Tim Lewis, said they like a lot of eye candy on not only on the offensive end, apparently, and special teams
Guess
as well.
It applies to PATs, too.
All works out in the end for Cal. And the Bears with a really nice answer on this drive after Sangapolatelli threw an interception on his first attempt, drove him all the way down, and Johnson finishes.
Yeah, after the penalty, too, and they got close to the goal line, but you said it. How big of a response is that? Get the momentum back on your side a little bit. Allow your defense to rest, too. So far through that first quarter, it had been all BC's offense slicing right through the Cal Bear defense. Great play, great drive right there. 11 plays, chewing up some clock, too.
You can see Wilcox patting his offensive lineman on the back. Nice job of mixing the run and the pass in on that drive.
It's got to be big mentally for that group, too. They struggled to run the ball last week versus San Diego State. JKS was forced to throw the ball 38 times. To have a drive that's finished off with a touchdown where running it was a big factor. It's good to see.
Green will get a chance here from his own 2. To the 30, cuts it back inside. That's a good return out to the 37. BC will have good starting field possession. Tonight after the San Jose State-Stanford game, the ACC Huddle crew, the final score. Going to wrap up the whole day with highlights and analysis as well as interviews with players and coaches. They got you covered on what has already been a crazy weekend in the ACC, and it's just going to get crazier, I feel like, for the rest of the day. It's on the ACC Network and on the ESPN app.
Honestly, feels like that might be the theme the rest of the season. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but man.
Anybody can win on any given day, and that's what we're seeing. And that makes the league incredibly exciting.
That middle tier of teams, a lot better this season, it feels like.
No doubt. This is McDonald. Give him a yard. Jordan McDonald. In the Atlanta area, transferred in from UCF. Second year with the program. McDonald's a little bit more of a taller, more of a slashing back, if you will, a little bit more than Turbo Richard.
Yeah, he had a nice game. I had their game last year versus Pitt, and they got the win there, and he had some big runs. Very much a two-headed backfield for him.
Bond in motion, now back outside. Lonergan to throw. Steps up in the pocket, tries to use his feet, can't get much, maybe a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and long. TJ Bowler's making the stop.
Bowler's making that stop, but Zeke Masses, the corner 5, they tried to get him on a little option route. It's excellent coverage right by him. Boston College up 14-7 at home.
Time on 4th and goal to get the touchdown for you guys.
Well, huge. You know, when you get down that low, we got to be able to run the ball into the end zone. Unfortunately, we went backward early in that series, but the guys overcame some adversity and finished it off, which is good.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. Coach, big drive for Cal to put it in the end zone. First time today, and we're early in the second quarter. Max Brown, Kendra Douglas, you just heard from, and Chris Cotter with you in Chestnut Hill. Lonergan to throw to open up this drive. Puts it on the money to Bond. Eludes one tackler, gets near midfield, first down.
They're doing a nice job finding Lewis Bond, different ways to get the ball. So far, those first couple drives was all BC, 12 plays, 84 yards for a touchdown. Then Lonergan, after the JKS interception, which is noteworthy, not only because Boston College got points off it to go from 7 to 14, but JKS, good job responding that pass drive, leading Cal down the field to get within one score.
Lonergan, play action. Doesn't have a receiver downfield. Now just throws this one away. Those 14 points scored by Boston College, most they've scored in the first quarter in an ACC game in almost 5 years, going back to the Clemson game in 2020. So great start, coming off the bye week. Disappointing loss on the road to Stanford. We talked to the coaching staff. They had a scrimmage in the bye week. A lot of young players get an opportunity to show what they can do, and some of them prove they deserve some playing time. We'll see some of those young players today.
Sounds like they had a couple scrimmages, which is very unique. Usually when you hear about bye weeks, it's rest, recovery, young guys, old guys aren't playing. No, they were scrimmaging, full contact. Big emphasis is improving tackling on defense, and the only way to do that is get good on good live action.
McLaughlin. He's gonna have to make somebody miss. He can't do it. Really nice job on the tackle by Cam Sidney.
Great job coming from that nickel spot. Cam Sidney triggered right away, goes low, doesn't allow Boston College to get any movement. Making a play in space. So big in college football. Oftentimes the big plays happen when you're missing tackles in open space. He gets McLaughlin down in a hurry, and another 3rd and 8 right here. Last 3rd and 8. They went 3 receivers to the top of the screen and found Lewis Bond in the slot. They got a similar formation again right here. Bond on the right hash, top of your screen. I'm sure they'll look his way.
Broom stays in the block, but they can't get everybody. Uluave leads the charge and the sack.
Can see the pressure package that this Justin Wilcox, Terrence Brown defense are bringing. A lot of looks, a lot of bodies right there. Just overpowering that Boston College offensive line. 3rd down is not a down. 3rd and long is not a down you want to get into in general in college football, but especially against this defense, because they have a deep list of pressure packages they can get to.
First Cal TFL forces the first Boston College punt. Seamus Florio, that's a good kick. And DeJesus is just going to have to call for a fair catch at his own 15. Coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern on the ACC Network. Stanford's going to host San Jose State in Palo Alto. It's the Bill Walsh Legacy Game. They named it the Legacy Game back in 2007. Why the Bill Walsh Legacy Game? He played at San Jose State and coached Stanford on 2 separate occasions.
But that's the actual name? I thought that was just a Chris Cotter making some happen.
I'm not that smart.
All right.
That's brilliant.
I was laughing earlier. That's brilliant. I love that.
Obviously, there's no love lost between those 2 programs in the Bay Area, so that'll be a fun one to watch. Raphael. Cal really wants to get this running game going. You mentioned it, Max. They had no success in San Diego last week, and they've had a little bit more today.
And it's huge. Not only just, obviously you want to establish the run, but it takes pressure off your young quarterback, too. I don't think it's a recipe for success asking JKS to throw 38 times a game. If you take pressure off him and defenses are forced to put another body in the box, well, then look out, because then home run shots down the field with your young quarterback could happen.
12 of their 15 plays from scrimmage for Cal have been runs. Not this one. Sangapolitelli looking to throw. As a receiver, his tight end open. First down near the first down marker. Marking right at the line to gain. Isaiah Ferris brought down Mason Minnie's right at the mark, and they're going to give him the first down.
I really like Mason Minnie and what he brings to this offense. He's, very much a receiving tight end, can do everything, but he does a nice job just sitting in that window. Kiave Sangapolitelli does a nice job as well, working through his progressions. That was his 4th read on that progression, working from right to left.
Raphael now in motion into the backfield with Sangapolitelli. Raphael dancing, bounces it outside. Drags a tackler for a few more. That tackler was Carter Davis, but a good run by Raphael, as it looked like he might have lost yardage right from the start. Boston College shows pressure up the middle. DeJesus on the quick pass. First down.
We were waiting for this. Cal move in the pocket. You check two boxes on a play like this. You get JKS rolling to his left. You love that. And you find DeJesus getting the ball in his hands in a unique way. Whatever it takes to get the ball in 21's hands and have it be any sort of punt return or kick return type look, you got to like your chances there.
Raphael back into the backfield. Sangapolatelli fakes it to him and gets it to his tight end. And boy, Minnie had it bounce off his shoulder pads. That was dangerous. The ball was just kind of hanging out there, but he was able to squeeze it for a minimal gain.
Yeah, that was a very similar concept to the play that Dylan Lonergan on the other side ran in for a touchdown, except this time they take away JKS's legs and he's forced to throw it to Mason Minnie. 19 receptions on the season, 2 touchdowns as well. They do a lot of those arrow routes, which is straight into the flat, as well as slide routes where you start on one side of the line of scrimmage and go to the flat on the other side of the football field as well.
Flags down.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That time, Minnie, the guilty party. They'll move back 5 yards. Coach Wilcox, no, you go on the road in league play. You want to play a clean game. You want to spring the upset. Now getting behind the chains here on second down with Brandon High in the backfield. Gets the handoff. Just lowers his shoulder. Another flag comes in right at the end of the play. Anye Osise on the tackle. Let's check if it'll stand.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 92. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Osise was hoping they didn't see that. And they got him.
That's huge too, because it's not only the penalty itself, but you get Cal out of what would have been a 3rd and long. Well, Cece, one of those defensive linemen that hasn't played a ton, but popped during bye week. Going to get more reps today. There's a long list of guys, defensive line-wise, that we're prepared to see today.
Second consecutive time the Cal drive now moves into BC territory. Now, look at that bullet caught by Jacob DeJesus. Man, that was a tough catch. Had to go behind, and there's a lot of mustard on that ball.
You said it, that's a bullet. It's an excellent catch by DeJesus. Little run pass option. Linebackers clear the box. You pull it, paint it right on the chest of your receiver. That one was not, a little behind him. Good job by this Cal offense early on, getting the ball in his hands. Seeing the all-purpose yards, and those numbers right there. He was a weapon last year at UNLV.
Sangapolatelli tries to get it to him again and does. Down at the 23. Isaiah Ferris in coverage.
They're going right back to it. This was a little bit deeper rather than it being a 1-step slant. This is a 3, maybe 5-step slant, pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. Anytime I see back-to-back slant routes with one-on-one coverage on the outside, you always got to be wary of a double move. Those safeties and those corners start biting with JKS's arm pushing the ball down the field.
Sangapolatelli 5 for 5 on this drive. All kinds of pressure up the middle. Handoff to Raphael, and BC does a nice job stuffing it. Right at the line of scrimmage.
It's a good job by Cal, though. I mean, to go down 14-0, they very much have steadied the ship here. approaching the red zone. Like to think this is points if they take care of business, but good getting this game back on track.
Great crowd here today at Alumni Stadium. Parents Weekend, which is huge here at Boston College, hasn't packed in.
This is great. It was tough finding a parking spot yesterday. Campus was packed.
Beautiful day as well. Get your team back home. Low snap picked up by Sangapolatele. His tight end again, Mason Minnie. KP Price is checking Minnie, but Sangapolatele is putting that ball right where it has to be. Shy of the first down. This is going to have a big third down in about 2.
Just one of the most impressive things for JKS, for a young guy. He's getting through his progressions. He's staying patient, taking what the defense gives you. Mason Minnie, I really like we've been saying, the receiver weapon that he is. 3rd and short here, though.
The 19-year-old, Jaron Kiave Sangapolatele.
Don't get
freshman.
one sense of that watching the film. Even-keeled, poised, impressive young man.
The give to Raphael, finds a hole, lowers his shoulder, and picks up the first down. Raphael just passed 1,000 career rushing yards. Good for him. Young man out of Naples, Florida, began his career at NC State. On the a little bit farther down in the depth chart at NC State than he wanted to be. Came out here to Cal, found a great opportunity. He's a starting tailback.
Great vision right there, too. Play's supposed to enter on the right-hand side of the offensive line. It rolls back to the left, and he picks up a first down.
Again, nice block in front of him. Sidesteps the tackler, dropped at the 5.
Get into all sorts of different things in the run game there, too. Pulling both the left guard and left tackle.
Offside. Defense number 17 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that says it all right there from Bill O'Brien. Penalty will be accepted. So preserve. They lose 2 yards, but preserve the down. Cal opts for that. 13th play in this drive coming up. That's 2 double-digit play drives for Cal in a row.
And they again just brought in 5 new faces and additional offensive linemen. Now they have 6 offensive linemen on this play and a big tight end as well.
Johnson, and yet it's still blowing up and fumbles a football. They're going to mark him down. Edwin Kalenge just blew that thing up from the start. They're going to mark him down. How did all those BC defenders get into the backfield?
And there was 3 offensive linemen to the left side of the center. That tight end was an additional tackle. Does the ground cause the fumble? You said it. That was chaotic for how much blocking they had in there. Cal's hurrying up to not allow them to review it.
And now Wilcox is going to call a timeout.
Timeout. Cal.
We'll come back. Cal's driving again, down 7. Coming out of the timeout, Justin Wilcox and his Bears trying to finish off yet another long drive. This one taking over 8 minutes off the clock, 12 plays. Think about, since going down 14-0 in this game, Cal's time of possession, 14 minutes and 43 to 3 minutes and 9 seconds for BC. Cal's had the ball the whole rest of the game since.
Resting their defense and stopping any sort of momentum that the Boston College offense established in the first quarter.
Still got to punch this one in, though, to make it worthwhile. Tight end Minnie in motion. I'll give it to Raphael. He's got good blocking up front. Gets just inside the 5. This will be a massive 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Running right behind big 55, Leon Bell, offensive lineman who's really coming on for them. Transfer from Mississippi State. 3rd and goal, though. So far this game, they've trusted handing the ball off. Haven't really put it in JKS's arms or legs in this scenario. You try to get something on the edge, maybe get Jacob DeJesus involved, or trust your running game.
Fakes it to Raphael. Touchdown, Bears.
Feels like they were baiting him a little bit so far this game. It was just run the rock. This time they faked the run. They got Jacob DeJesus, who starts on the right of JKS and runs to the left back pylon. The speed, the quickness, and honestly the size kind of hides a little bit in there. Leaks out the other side for a touchdown for Cal Bears.
Meyer with the PAT. The Bears have come all the way across the country. Spotted the Eagles 14 points, but they fought their way back into this thing. 2 long touchdown drives. DeJesus finishing it off, all knotted up.
Sundown, calling young rain, heading uptown, switch.
3:46 left to go in the first half, 14-14. After a 14-play drive, that followed up a 12-play drive. Cal is all even.
Yeah, they do a nice job getting Jacob DeJesus, who starts on the right-hand side. They fake the run to that side, and then he just gets lost in the shuffle. Finds his way to the back corner. Excellent job by JKS putting it on him. Good job there, methodical down the field, and then we set it closer to the goal line. They hadn't really thrown the ball or tried that. You get Boston College being aggressive towards the run game because you've had success with the run game on that drive, and DeJesus can be a factor behind it.
Meyer kicks it high and short. Boston College will set up from the 30-yard line after a 14-yard return. We'll take a quick break. BC offense back on the field when we come back.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Great crowd here at Alumni Stadium today in Chestnut Hill. Boston College, they gave their home folks a 14-point lead. They've seen that evaporate in the second quarter. 4 plays, 5 total yards for the Eagles. What do they need to do offensively to get this thing going again?
Yeah, they got to get back to the magic that was working those first couple drives. Steady dose of Lewis Bond, their receiver, number 11, and then establish that run game again with Turbo Richard.
Richard is in there with Dylan Lonergan. Bond is in motion, now flags.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Back yourself up already.
False start, offense, number 56, 5-yard penalty, first out.
Eric Starrity, and you mentioned it already, it's the offensive line where they're, I think both of these teams and their coaches told us they're trying to find the 5 best guys, and wherever they put them, they got to get the 5 best guys on there. And with Jude Bowery out, team captain on that starting left tackle, Boston College is having to play a little shell game here.
It very much felt like a key in this game, which you don't always say is, you know, which offensive line can find their best 5 first and settle in. That team might have a better spot about ultimately winning this game.
Lonergan to throw. Looking to Richard out of the backfield, makes the catch, but he's met immediately by Uluave, who's having himself a day.
And that's the hardest thing to cover as a linebacker, those wheel routes, because you're out on an island. The quarterback can back shoulder the throw to the running back and throw it over the top, which Dylan Lonergan has shown that he can do throughout this year. That's twice we've seen Cade Uluave make plays, and it's triggered because this Cal defense is getting pressure, so you have to get the ball to your hands quickly. But Olave is right there in coverage.
Got about 5 yards. Again, Bond in motion. Turbo has a huge hole, opts to cut it back inside, runs over a defender. Picks up about 13.
That time they're running right at the other inside linebacker, Harrison Taggart, the transfer from BYU by way of Oregon. Mentioned it earlier, but This was a Cal defense that lost a lot of guys, a lot of talent to the NFL, one of which was the other linebacker. There's a battle at, that other spot. Is it going to be Farrelly? Is it going to be Taggart? A little bit of a rotation. If I'm BC, though, that might be the side that I lean my run game towards.
Lonergan fakes the pitch. Gets it back out to Turbo. Can't make a man miss. Another great tackle in open space, Aaron Hampton, because if he doesn't make that tackle, Turbo kicks into Turbo.
Excellent tackle. The former walk-on who just, with each game, each season, keeps getting more and more reps. Excellent job in open space. We've said that a few times today. Cal coming up with those tackles.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout. BC trying to get back on the track offensively.
Coming up on the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report, you got the four of us giving you our thoughts on what we saw this morning. Louisville, they had quite the comeback. Plus, Coach Clausen watching Wake go down to the wire with Georgia Tech. Chris Cotter, we got plenty more coming in just a couple minutes.
Clausen, longtime coach to the Demon Deacons. Watching them take on my alma mater. That was an exciting finish. Looking forward to the halftime report to talk about all the craziness today in the ACC. We might have a crazy one here. Richard dances his way to another first down. Well, we talked at the top of the game about these two quarterbacks, two of the brightest young stars in this game in terms of what they've done. What do you think they've done?
They both played well. The one interception really sticks out from gwes-earn, but he responded from there. Lonergan's played incredibly efficient.
Oh, that one was almost picked and probably should have been. Jair Smith stepped in front of that one and just...
Might have to credit the umpire with the pass breakup right there. You said it, Smith jumping right in front of it. Check the referee in the middle of the field. No, he was right there. Very similar feeling to the interception that Boston College got off of JKS. They caught that one, got points off it. That's a big missed opportunity for Cal. That's a gift.
Lonergan looking downfield. He's got Bond inside the 40. Shy of the first down by about 3. Taggart and Wagner combining on the tackle. Bond getting back involved.
Utilizing tempo, but still have all 3 timeouts. Still a lot of time to complete this drive.
Lonergan going for it all with Bond. Overshoots him and well covered by Wagner.
Excellent coverage right here by Josiah Wagner in the hip pocket the whole way. Lewis Bond's looking for that back shoulder throw a little bit, and it's just a little too far. That was my point that I made earlier when JKS painted it on his receiver, and as a result of it being an accurate throw, you got the pass interference. That time it's a little bit of an overthrow. Great coverage by Wagner, but he wasn't even tested. Could have potentially got caught there without getting his eyes behind. But again, on 3rd down, they're going to look Bond's way. Let's see what they do here on 4th
down, yes. Richard makes the catch over his shoulder. Taggart just couldn't quite get there, and that'll move the sticks.
So they start the drive with a little wheel route by their running back on Olave. Olave's athleticism shows up. This time they're running against the other linebacker, Harrison Taggart, and that's a tall task for any linebacker, running from the opposite side, trying to defend against a running back.
Lonergan over the middle, try to get his tight end. First time we've even mentioned Jeremiah Franklin today. And the true freshman, Aiden Manitai, was in coverage.
It seemed like a little bit of a forced throw right here, trying to get your tight end the ball, working on the over, and then the true freshman for Cal, Manitai, who they love, starting at safety, which is in the long line of great Cal safeties in recent memory. For Justin Wilcox to have a true freshman at that spot from the state of Hawaii, they think the world of this young man. Impact player, coming up, making tackles, and just mentally to know what he's doing and understanding this defense at that young of an age is impressive.
Cal again brings 4, so Lonergan is going to have time. That ball batted up in the air and incomplete.
That to me was maybe the first misread too, trying to force it to the sideline, and then Lewis Bond, I thought he had open right over the center of the ball for a 5-yard gain. This is one of the first really 3rd and longs that we've seen. Seen a couple 3rd and 8s, but not 3rd and 10s. We've talked about it. This is where the pressure packages for Cal come alive. Do you go pressure, man coverage, or do you back off, trust your defensive line to get pressure and have 8 guys defend?
They bring 4. Lonergan steps up. That's a tough pass. He didn't get everything he wanted to get on that pass. Incomplete.
Timeout for an injured player on defense.
Cal player injured. See if we can get a number. Chris Victor grabbing his right knee. Defensive end. It's a Cal defensive line that's already missing Ryan McCullough. Probably their best defensive lineman, certainly their best defensive end. He's already out with an injury.
Yeah, it was a big opportunity heading in this game for Victor.
That's not Victor. It's like Serengei Tunkara, it's 18.
It's a good sign he's stretching it out, rather than when he immediately went to his knee. You obviously think the worst case scenario.
Tunkara is being helped off, so to your point, at least he was able to get up to his feet. Apologize on the missed number.
It's a big stop, though, for that Cal defense. You're probably 34, 44. No, you're in field goal range.
Keep in mind, their longest leg for BC, they've got a guy who can hit it. Lombardo has a 51.
And I think it's actually going to be exactly 51 yards, so maybe 50 yards on the dot.
They're going to give it to him right now at 52. They'll line 52. It up, so...
This is what he was practicing all warm-ups.
Hit a 51 at Stanford a couple of weeks ago. He'll line up from 52 here. He's got plenty of distance. He's got it. What a weapon. And it's a weapon that Boston College really hasn't had over the past few years. A kicker that can absolutely let it fly, and Lombardo puts him back on top with 37 seconds left to go in the first half.
He makes this look easy. Confident stroke, nice height as well, and obviously the distance to get it there. We've talked about it in back-to-back weeks. We had Bill Belichick a couple weeks ago, and talking about the differences between the NFL and the college game. Sometimes I think it can get overhyped, the schematic differences. The reality is the NFL is stealing from the college game and college game stealing from the NFL. But the one difference that is glaring for Bill Belichick when we were talking with him is the kicking game. In the NFL, you get to 50, it feels like a chip shot. In college, if you have a guy that can do that, man, what a luxury that is. And Cal on the other side's got a dangerous returner. Do they copy Cal's playbook and maybe pooch this? Don't give 21 a shot.
And they'll let it roll through the back of the end zone. Tonight, after the San Jose State-Stanford game, the ACC Huddle Final crew going to be on hand. Going to wrap up the whole day. Highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches. We got you covered here on the ACC Network. Also on the ESPN app if you're out on the go.
Might be a lot of play callers that get conservative in a situation like this. Close game going into half. I don't think that'll be Cal's DNA. I think they trust their young quarterback to make great decisions. You got 3 timeouts. Mindset here is just find the first completion.
They'll keep it on the ground. Raphael doesn't have anywhere to go, and I think they're going to be conservative.
Saw that last night in the Virginia-Florida State game. Late in that game of maybe try to get a run on first down. Maybe if you can sneak one past them. If you get something there, then maybe it gets up tempo, but Cal's not going to do that. They're going to be content with heading into halftime.
And that'll do it. Both teams will make their way to the locker rooms. BC jumped out to a 14-0 start. It looked great for the home folks. Cal, though, rallied, put 14 on the board themselves before a long field goal gave the Eagles the halftime break. Kelsey on ESPN, Chestnut Hill, Mass, getting set to start the second half. Boston College with a 17-14 lead over Cal. Max Brown, Chris Cotter with you. Very interesting game. 14 points for BC. Looked like they might blow out. Cal came across the country for this game. Not so fast. Cal finally woke up. We got a game.
Yeah, they did a good job riding the ship there. I mean, statistically, very comparable. Really, it's just that one interception that BC got off of JKS. Outside of that, pretty back and forth throughout this game. First half, I mean, Dylan Lonergan, that opening drive for the BC Eagles went right down the field. Lewis Bond got a lot of receptions on that drive. Lonergan's legs got in. And then Turbo Richard got involved. This is the touchdown off of the interception that I just talked about, which was a big swing point in this game. Credit the Cal offense, though. They responded that very next drive, drove down the field. They went for it on fourth down there. Right here, finding Jacob DeJesus in the back of the end zone to score 14 straight. And then the Cal defense was able to get a stop in that last drive to only hold BC to a field goal. So very back and forth, neck and neck so far in this first half.
Sangapolotele threw that interception on his first attempt. He was perfect 9 for 9 throughout the remainder of the first half after that, so he really settled in. And Cal will get the ball to start this second half. Fair catch made on the kickoff by Karan Adams. Kendra down in the field.
Well, talking with head coach Justin Wilcox, he told me the big message for his Cal team was he wanted to see them to clean up those penalties on offense when it comes to defense. So he said these guys missed a lot of tackles, one-on-one battles that he really wants to see them execute better. I also asked him about outside linebacker Serene Takura and his update. He said no update on him. Watch out for that.
I appreciate that, Kendra.
I thought their tackling was pretty good in open field. Justin Wilcox has a high standard.
Sangapolotele, high points it perfectly. Tron Grizel, that's exactly what he does. 6'4", goes up and makes the contested catch, 31 yards. Cal back in business again into BC territory.
They make this look so easy week in, week out, and it's not. You got JKS on the far hash, throwing an absolute seed right above the head of the DB, and him and Tron Grizel have a great rhythm with that, making those contested catches. Not every team in college football makes it look that easy.
BC showing a little pressure off the edge. They come with it quickly out to DeJesus. Good pickup on first down. Owen McGowan did a nice job of coming out and forcing 21 out of bounds, but it's a gain of 5.
And so far, this Cal offense, I mean, they've found a good rhythm. I mean, in terms of, I made the point on their first drive of, you know, how are their skill players going to settle in? You know, who is that go-to guy? DeJesus has done a nice job in the slot. Tron Grizel has very much been the outside guy. And then we've talked a lot about Mason Minnie, their receiving tight end, getting in the short yardage pass game as well.
Raphael trying to move the pile. Maybe gets a couple. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Cisse and Williams combining on the tackle. Cal's 3 for 4 on 3rd down so far.
They've had this scenario a lot so far this game. Feels like 3rd and short. They've elected to lean on Raphael, and it's worked out. Left hash, JKS not as comfortable necessarily, or doesn't do it as much rolling to his right.
BC brings 4. Sangapolotele feels the pressure and just unloads it. He's looking for Jacob DeJesus, but it wasn't even close. Hugh Hutchins was able to bring the heat.
Nice pressure by Quintavious Hutchins coming on the bottom side of the screen. Q Hutchins has had a much more elevated role this season. Remember, Boston College had to replace Donovan Ezeraku, 2nd-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd down pass rush situations was very much Ezeraku's specialty last year. It's a good sign for BC getting pressure there.
Isaiah Ferris back to return this punt. Ferris lets it go over his head. Were they able to keep it out of the end zone? The officials are going to mark it at the 3. No, it's touchback. First time in the second half, we're going to get a chance to see Dylan Lonergan. Wild chase for that ACC championship. How about Jude Bowery, one of the team captains here for BC? Banged up, not able to go today. Look at the size of that guy.
Look at the chain, too. Right. The NIL era has been good to the jewelry industry.
Lonergan going deep. All kinds of contact, and flags come out. He was looking for Reed Harris. Paco Austin was in coverage, but a little too physical with 4 in red down the field.
Pass interference, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
Yeah, Boston College dialing up a shot right here, trying to send a message early on their first drive in the second half. Trying to get Reed Harris, you said it. Brent Austin on tight coverage. I don't think it was at the end. I think it was more out of his break, the beginning of the route, because you had flags on that sideline as well.
You see Lonergan's numbers on the first drive, and since comes in averaging 330 a game, second in FBS. And one thing they haven't been able to do in their first 3 games this season was run the football. They were averaging 73 yards rushing, and they've already almost gotten to that figure here in the early part of the third quarter in this game, so a little bit more balance for BC.
And a big emphasis was trying to get explosive run plays as well. They got one of them in the first half that set up that touchdown. Right there, you're seeing offensive coordinator Will Line. Big improvement last year in terms of pass yards per game. And that's saying a lot, too, because their quarterback was Thomas Castellanos, who's doing a lot of good things at Florida State. Speaks to the talent of Dylan Lonergan this year.
Turbo trying to get to the edge. Got the first down. Onatai forced him out. BC, again, showing a little balance here, establishing the running game to start this second half.
Goodness gracious, we got to get that man a new jersey. He probably likes the way that looks, though.
It's the center, Michael Crounce. Lonergan to throw over the middle. There's his tight end, Franklin, inside the 40. Well, it was just a matter of time, Max.
This is a nice design. You fake the run. You know Cal's linebackers are being aggressive, and then you get your receiving tight end, Jeremiah Franklin, right behind him in a little pop pass. It's good rhythm, establishing the run and having your pass plays play off of that. They featured Jeremiah Franklin. They had the deep shot to Reed Harris. Kind of feels like it might be Lewis Bond time as well, number 11.
He is at the top of your screen, now in motion. Instead, they get it to King. Can't shoot a tackle, though. Polidor did a nice job of hanging on for dear life. No gain.
It's a unique design right there. You have the receiver coming from behind him. You see a lot of people do that in college football and then try to sneak almost a little screen underneath to Reed Harris. They're using Lewis Bond as a decoy behind him, trying to get the defense to flow that way, but that's excellent recognition by Drew Polidor Jr., the safety for Cal, dashing in there and getting the legs.
Bond again in motion. He's in motion on almost every single play, 11 in red. Coming back this way. Lonergan rolls it, wants a block. Gets one, but too many Cal defenders.
I made the comment yesterday to Coach Line of, how much of a difference is it this year calling plays for Dylan Lonergan compared to last year with Thomas Castellanos. Castellanos being much more of a dual threat quarterback, as ACC fans have seen this year. And he says, well, you know what? You know, Lonergan might not have Thomas Castellanos type legs, but we want his mobility to start being a factor in this game plan, especially when things break down. The ability to just get a few yards and set yourself up with 3rd and 7 rather than 3rd and 10 is a big deal.
Now they're 0 for 3 on their last 3rd down tries in terms of converting. They're going to convert this one, though, with Turbo. Inside the 30, and flags down, though, behind the play. Let's check the marker first. Officiating crew has had a busy afternoon. Offensive pass interference, the initial indication.
Offensive pass interference, number 4 on the offense, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Call's going against Reed Harris. A little bit of a pick action here?
I think so, yeah. That's been the favorite concept for BC today, that running back wheel route. Bill O'Brien doesn't like it. He's saying Reed Harris is running a route. It's not an actual pick play. The question will be whether or not he got his hands up. He doesn't like it, but don't be surprised if they go back to that play call. Like I said, they've ran it about 4 times today. That might be the cat and mouse game. Does Cal adjust to that, or what's the wrinkle for the BC offense?
Well, you go from a 1st down conversion to a 3rd down and a mile. Lonergan looking to the sideline, empty backfield. Cal's going to bring just 4, so Lonergan has time. Hits his man. That was Pugh, but way short of the line to gain for the 1st down. It's going to be 4th and 7. You got a kicker with a big leg. Ain't going to be that big. They're going to bring in the punter.
Yeah, you're very much in no man's land here. They're going to bring in the punter and try to pin him deep and force JKS to drive the length of the field. I think that's a good call. If it was 4th and 4, 4th and 5, maybe you go for it. Instead, you're going to pin him deep, probably just too much to get a field goal attempt in.
Cal's got the day A kid, the Jesus. Just going to make the fair catch inside his own 10-yard line. That's where the Bears will take over when we come back. 17-14, BC still with the lead.
We got my ACC transfer QB rankings. A lot of transfers in this conference. This list might be getting a lot of pushback. It's going into this weekend. Had to put Steve Angeli in there. He absolutely is the reason Clemson pulled that upset off, or Syracuse pulled the upset versus Clemson a week ago. We're seeing why JKS is on this list. Darian Mensah coming up with a big win today with Steve Angeli being out versus Syracuse. Florida State lost last night. Him and Carson Beck, Thomas Castellanos, that is, will probably get swapped for this next week. But Carson Beck playing at a really high level. I was not always on the Carson Beck hype train in the past 18 months, but this first month of the football season, he's playing at a really, really high level.
Well, Jaron Kiave-Sangapolatele is confirming your love for him on that list today. Threw an interception his first pass attempt, but he's been great ever since. Tries to sidearm it, and a nice catch by Raphael. He does sidearm it and gets it there. Bryce Steele on the tackle, but good heavens.
Yeah, next week I'll put Angeli off.
That looked like Dan Quisenberry throwing that pass.
Hey,
it was right on the money.
That's why he's in the list, baby. That's why he's in the list. But now, next week, if I had to guess, it'll probably be a battle between Lonergan and Chandler Morris, Virginia, for that 4th and 5th spot.
Plus, you got Miami, Florida State, right? ACC Network's going to be there. Look at that huge hole for Raphael. Burst through it beyond the 30. Tip your cap to this offensive line. Talk a lot about JKS and a lot about DeJesus and whatnot, but that offensive line just gave him a huge hole.
Yeah, they got a little over pursuit by Omar Thornton, the safety there, got going to that far side of the field, and Kendrick Raphael dashed right in the middle. He's really popped this game. We talked about the battle at the running back spot all fall camp. Was looking for more from that position after the San Diego State game. He's delivered today.
They'll go to him again. Good push on that offensive line on this carry. Gets 6.
Yeah, you mentioned the push, little outside zone here. Tyson Ruffins, 56, the center. Look him get to work on that nose guard, 52.
Sangapolatelli to Jesus. Takes a couple of hard hits right near the marker. Ashton Cunningham on the tackle. They'll move the sticks. Another first down. Well, Lonergan comes into this game second in the country in passing yards per game. One of the things that you're going to do if you're Cal is keep the ball away from him. Don't let him get on the field, and they've owned time of possession. Another first down to keep that clock ticking. Well, they just got to find a way to get into the end zone and retake the lead in this game. Fake to Johnson. Flag down as he tried to get it to the Jesus. Cameron Martinez in coverage. Crowd a little restless when that flag came out.
They've had success with that a couple times, a little slant route.
Pass interference, defense number 29. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
We'll take a look here. Let's see, as he draped all over him, DeJesus breaking across the face, and yeah, he's grabbing that off arm. You know, they'll work DeJesus on a little slant route, then they'll set that up and have him break out. It's a tough spot to be in. Cameron Martinez for BC plays that nickel spot. It's basically the third linebacker lined up over the slot receiver, which is DeJesus.
DeJesus now at the top of your screen. BC with a little bit of pressure. Going for DeJesus here, just overshoots him. Coverage that time was outstanding by Max Tucker.
Excellent coverage, and the pass rush. They got to JKS on that one. Hasn't been hit a lot today, but I do think that forced the errant throw. Credit the pass rush from BC.
That was Q Hutchins, part of that crew that got in, forced a quick throw.
Man, for a true freshman, JKS, he's big too. He mentioned to us, or I guess I was listening to a podcast about him needing to lose weight when he got to campus. Usually young quarterbacks are the exact opposite, but that's weight you like in terms of withstanding hits in the pocket.
Johnson. Takes a big hit. Only picks up a couple. This will bring up third and long. Quan Williams delivered that hit.
This is where JKS just needs to play point guard. He's done a good job of really getting all his playmakers involved today. We've seen a little bit of Mason Minnie as tight end. Seen Tron Grizel on the outside lanes with some vertical shots. We've seen DeJesus 21 with some work in the slot. Wouldn't be surprised if he looks towards the bottom of the screen. You got DeJesus as the lead receiver, and then Mason Minnie as well at the tight end spot.
BC brings four. Trying back shoulder again on the tight end. He's looking for a flag. He's not going to get it. Minnie was covered by Cunningham. Minnie can't believe it. Thought Cunningham had a little bit of his jersey.
That felt like a lot of contact, and again, inaccurate throw, I think, bails the cornerback out. I think if that's a more accurate throw, this DB's draped all over him. Can't really make I mean, that's a lot of contact. He's got his chest through his right in between the 8 and the 5. I think that easily could have been pass interference, but again, it wasn't the most accurate throw, so the DB gets off the hook.
So for the second time, only the second time in this game, Michael Kern comes in to punt it away for Cal. Ferris makes the fair catch inside his own 10. Lonergan and BC back on offense when we come back. Eagles up 3. Sun setting here in Chestnut Hill. Beautiful day. Beautiful day for football, and the fans that are in attendance here at Alumni Stadium enjoying it. Parents Weekend here at Boston College. We've got a nice section of Cal fans, of course, in the corner, as always. Blue and yellow. They've enjoyed what they've seen so far as their team has given the favorite Boston College Eagles all they can handle. Now BC moves back 5 yards. How about this? We had one punt in the entire first half of this game combined. We've had 3 in a row now.
Illegal snap by the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The defenses are settling in a little bit here. You get that feeling?
Totally, yeah. First half was all about offense, kind of trading blows there, and then it really started with that last drive in the first half. The Cal defense felt like they found something. They forced BC to settle for a field goal, and then you said it, Chris, so far in this third quarter, been a defensive struggle.
Dylan Lonergan and company starting this drive behind the chains already. 1st and 15 from their own 5. Turbo lowers his shoulders, and you can see the power, the compact power that 2 in red brings to the table. Uluave and Paco Austin combining on the tackle, but it's about 9 yards downfield.
This is a great job by Turbo Richard, driving his legs at the first ounce of contact. I mean, you can see him dragging Cade Uluave, who we've talked about highly today. About 4 or 5 yards there.
You can see Turbo. He does it through the air and on the ground. But both of these teams who have struggled to run the football often this year doing a much better job today. Now they're sweeping Turbo wide, and he's only able to pick up about a yard.
When defensive coordinators talk about fitting their gaps in the run scheme, this is exactly what it looks like. There's a wave of white jerseys traveling to that sideline. That's excellent team pursuit by this Cal defense. Look at this. They're going to try to get it to the outside lane. There's a Cal white defender in every single gap. Nowhere to go, just a sea of bears tracking down Turbo Richard.
BC began this game 3 for 3 on 3rd down. They're 0 for 4 since. Lonergan to throw. Franklin can't hang on. Pass was a little bit behind him, just out of his reach. BC's going to have to punt.
Really the first inaccurate throw we've seen from Dylan Lonergan. He wanted to put on the left shoulder of this receiver away from the defender, but just a little bit too far out there. Good chest match adjustment by Cal, too. They went a lot of zone there for that running back wheel route, forcing that throw, not letting the wheel route beat you, rather than man coverage.
First 3 and out of the game for either team. High short kick to Jesus is going to have to come in and make the fair catch in traffic. And he does at the 45-yard line, so outstanding field position for Cal after the 29-yard punt. Next Saturday, Taylor Tannenbaum and the ACC Huddle crew, they're going to be down in T-Town, Tallahassee, getting you ready for Florida State and Miami. And the rest of Week 6, a 2-hour pregame show begins at 10 o'clock Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and on the app. So Florida State going to have to bounce back after the loss at Virginia last night.
It's really the first short field that Cal's had today. I wonder if Brian Harsin takes a shot on this drive.
We'll start on the ground. Raphael steps his way through the defense. Good pickup of almost 5 on 1st down.
And I say that comment because oftentimes when you're in this part of the field, it's that awkward 4-down territory, getting extra down. But man, this Cal running game has been effective today. Raphael has very much made his impact running the ball.
He's got 75 yards on 15 carries to this point. He'll stay with him. Nice job on the tackle on the weak side. That was Gwes-eas tracked him down.
It's good discipline by Gwes-eas, staying in his gap, a lot of eye candy, jet motion. Again, got a 3rd and 2 for Cal. Had success just feeding the rock to Raphael in the backfield.
Oh, took a big hit and stayed on his feet. Grizel. Beautifully designed play. I loved having the tight end running out there to give him a block, and then Grizel took the shot and hung on.
Yeah, the Dolphins popularized this motion. Little burst motion. You get your receiver who's connected to the offensive line, motioning outwards to get numbers on the outside. Then you have 3 receivers versus the 2 defensive backs for Boston College. It's a numbers advantage and the reason why they picked up that 1st down.
The previous play is under further review. Suspect targeting foul.
We're going to have to take another look at this. I didn't see anything in real time.
I did not either. When it is open field, the offensive player technically can be a targeting recipient as well. It's definitely not him here. I don't see anything there. He's going to the ground. You got 3 BC Eagles corralling him.
It would have been on, if it was on anybody, it would have been on, I think, Carter Davis. 7. If you see him come in, see if we can see that again. Keep an eye on 7. He's the one that's kind of in the middle of the 3 defenders crashing in. See him right here, 7. Does he lower his head and lead with it?
Ooh,
that's what they're looking at right there.
Yep.
They're looking at 7, whether he leads with the crown of his head and whether the offensive player lowers his head or not. If you're leading with the crown of your helmet, now all of a sudden all bets are off.
Crown of the helmet, head or neck area. And is there a lunge towards the head or neck area?
The ruling on the field is upheld. No targeting.
Yeah, I don't think he got direct contact, so they're gonna let it slide. I like the speedy review though. That was quick.
I
Pause
concur.
the game, get in and out.
I concur. Got some good momentum in this game right now. Late 3rd quarter.
It's been cool last night seeing the Florida State Virginia, where you get the inside look on the refs and how they're communicating. A little peek behind the curtain.
No doubt about it.
And a great addition to football. I feel like that's only going to be part of more and more games across both college and NFL.
Fresh set of downs for the Bears. Going to the end zone for King. Got him inside the 15. King had his man beat. 21 yards on the pitch and catch.
Jordan King's a name we haven't really said, but you got DeJesus running a slant below him, and great job just high pointing the ball. It's been a theme today. JKS has an excellent knack for the touch on the football, layering it there and allowing his players to make a play.
3rd completion of at least 20 yards. Raphael inside the 10.
I mean, he's high pointing this thing. Jordan King using that 6'2" frame. When I say high point, that's saying that's going up and getting the ball at the highest point, so a smaller defender can't get involved there. If you let that ball get into your chest or you catch it in the cradle a little bit, that's a recipe for a safety or a corner getting his hand involved. It's excellent receiver work there.
Could be watching the final play of this 3rd quarter. Sangapolatelli to pass. Got pressure on the backside. Almost got his tight end. Mason Minnie couldn't bring it in one-handed. 9 seconds still remaining. In this 3rd quarter, it'll be 3rd and 8.
JKS is usually really accurate. Gets drifting to his left a little bit of that sidearm action. Just 6 inches away from that being a catch. Mason Minnie probably just thinking, man, I could have had a touchdown on my hands.
Yeah, I think he runs in if he can make that grab, but can't. 3rd and 8. DeJesus in motion to the top of the screen. O'Brien got his workout in on that one. Ran all the way down to the field to call a timeout. Didn't like what he was seeing defensively.
Boston College. 30-second timeout, and it's the first of the 2nd half.
He is hot right now. He's working that juicy fruit gum too, man. He's been working that all quarter long, all game long, and he ran the length of the sideline to get that timeout. He's really unhappy with the way his team was set up. Of course, part of his career, one of the stops he made was working under Bill Belichick with the Patriots. Had all kinds of success as a quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator.
It was part of the staff that drafted Julian Edelman, and this past week he went to Edelman's Patriot Hall of Fame honor ceremony. Julian Edelman and Bill Parcells, 2 football greats.
3rd and 8. Could be a free play. No, they blow it dead.
Offside. Defense number 15, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down. Game clock operator, let's put 9 seconds back up on the game clock. Thank you.
That's a great coaching job by Cal. You come out of a timeout, use a hard count, which means you're going on 2, knowing that it's 3rd down, knowing that BC is going to want to rush the passer. Coming out of timeout, you say, guys, don't move. Let's see if we can draw them off sides, because now it's 3rd and 3 versus 3rd and 8. Night and day difference for the type of play calls you can get to.
Raphael trying to sidestep a defender. The pile pushing it as close as they can to the goal line. Didn't get in. But it's really how close he is to picking up the 1st down, and we're going to have to wait until the other side to find out. End of the 3rd quarter here in Chester.
Up 17-14. Coach, what's going to be your message to Dylan and how you want to see this team get this offense going and get this take care of this job?
We got to create some chunk plays. We're not creating enough downfield plays. They're there, but we're not hitting them. We hit them a couple times, but not enough.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. Coach, before he gets still and Lonergan back onto the field with his offense, got to worry about his defense here. Starting this 4th quarter, up 3. Cal with a 4th and 1 at the 3-yard line to start this 4th.
And it looks like a very short one at that.
Sangapolatelli under center. He'll give it to Raphael. Stopped! He won't get there. BC defense holds.
The BC defense bowing up in a big way. Cal had a short field, drove all the way down on 4th and short. Defensive line-wise and secondary getting involved there. Isaiah Ferris, the corner, was the first point of contact. And then it was gang tackling by the entire BC defense. Chris, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. I was a little bit surprised.
14:54, back up on the game clock.
I'm sure they thought about kicking it, because right there, Cal had all the momentum. You got your defense playing well. I guess at this point, Justin Wilcox is going to say, even if we don't get it, let's trust our defense and try to pin him deep again.
Because now Lonergan has taken the shotgun snap in his own end zone. That's where he hands it off to Turbo. Stays on his feet.
Yep.
Flag down behind the play. Turbo got it all the way out to the 17, but let's check that marker. Luke Farrelly made the tackle.
Offensive holding, number 65. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
Yeah, you did not want that to occur in the end zone. Otherwise, that would have been a safety, but it was outside. Still half the distance, and it negates a great run on 1st down.
Yeah, that run was not supposed to leak out to the left side, so unfortunately Logan Taylor, playing that left tackle spot, was blocking the leverage of the defender one way, and then his running back unexpectedly cut back the other, and he got caught red-handed with the holding.
BC coming into this game, only 14 penalties through their first 3 games. They got 10 today. And now they're in a jam. Again to Turbo. Just trying to get him out of trouble here. Gets it to the 6. Kiana Ina on the tackle, and a little post whistle, pushing and shoving. No harm done.
Little acting job from Logan Taylor. I can respect it, trying to get a 15-yarder for your squad. Except I don't think a little corner is pushing him down like that. See at the end of this run right here, a little pushing and shoving. Just outside the frame there. Yep, and you can see Logan Taylor fall into the frame. Good no call.
Lonergan's going to throw from his own end zone. Dangerously intercepted. It's Massis with his 4th on the year, and he gets it all the way down to the 2. Zeke Massis leads the country in interceptions. That's his 4th. And he puts the Golden Bears in a golden spot.
What a play by Massis, and it's right around the same area of the field that JKS's interception happened, where BC got him. This time it's Cal jumping on a dig route, a little bit late across the middle. Zeke Massis right in his hip pocket. undercuts it, switches the ball to the other end, and seeing why they love him. You said it, Chris. His 4th interception on the season, 6'1", 185. A transfer that's made a big impact for this defense.
The give to Raphael. Probing. Doesn't get in at first. Now he does. Touchdown, Cal. And much to the delight of their fans clad in blue and yellow in the corner, they've taken their first lead of the day here early in the 4th quarter. Converts. Cal was sleepwalking through the first part of this game. They were down 14-0. They fought hard offensively, defensively, special teams. Masses with his 4th pick on the year. And Raphael finishes it off.
Kelsey Riggs Cuff with you, and let's take a look at this Fansville studio update. Georgia Tech was down 17 on the road. They forced overtime, came back, and then Wake Forest in overtime going for 2. Not able to convert. They tried to go for the win instead of the point after to tie it. They fall 30-29 in overtime. Chris?
Cal taking their first lead of the game, 21-17. After the big turnover. And that ball picked up at the 29. That's where BC will take over. Zeke Massis, his 4th interception of the year, leads the country. He takes over for a guy in Noel Williams, who led the country last year with 7 picks on the year, part of 4 players drafted off this defense into the NFL. Williams is having a great start to his career with the Chiefs.
And Noel Williams had about 7 picks through 2 months of football last year, and then they started throwing the other way and didn't really have much in November. But I mentioned it earlier, this is a defense that somewhat flies under the radar, but they're putting guys into the league, and especially at the secondary spot, safety and corner this past year, doing a lot of good things.
Richard, watch out here. It's going to be a foot race. And he stays on his feet for the score. 71 yards. And the Cal lead was short-lived.
BC's longest run coming into this game was just 14 yards. That's going to for sure be the longest run after this. Bill O'Brien was talking explosive plays. He was alluding to it being a pass game thing. Well, when all you have to do is hand the rock off and get explosive plays that way, it's going to make the whole offense happy.
Well, the turbo kicked in here.
It's nice patience, just a missed tackle by Olave in the hole, and it's off to the races for Richard. Breaks the tackle there, and you said it. It was a short-lived lead. Using that turbo, bursting through the hole, coming right at you for 6.
Struggled mightily in their first 3 games of the year, getting the running game going. Offensive coordinator Will Lawing told us earlier in the week that was top of mind to flip that script. They certainly have today, coming in just over 73 yards over their first 3 games per game.
And it's just got to be part of their identity too. BC's always going to have big physical offensive linemen, big physical backs. Not necessarily going to be a team that's going to be a space team. Got to get the run game going.
To Jesus, can he answer? Forced out of bounds at the 22. Fourth quarter's been wild. Third quarter, we had all those punts.
So it's been about, what, like 90 seconds?
Yeah,
they got a whole fourth quarter
half.
summary card, 90 seconds.
Well, now it's time for the answer from the freshman.
This is where his demeanor, calm, cool, and collected, has to be a strength.
Batted up in the air, incomplete. Favor Bate got a hand on it. Bate looks like a man on a mission there.
Yeah, and it's tough for a left-handed quarterback to roll to your right because you got to twist your hips like he's doing right there. You can't stay on the run as easily. But credit Bate being that edge rusher right in his face, knowing that's what they like to do. BC, a lot of different edge rushers that they're playing, especially after this bye week when some young guys popped.
Flag down. Grizel making the catch, dropped right there by Cunningham. Let's check the marker.
Illegal formation by the offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Legal formation, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. The tight end off. I wonder if Grizel, that we saw right there, was not on the ball. Cal's had a few of those just self-inflicted wounds.
Grizel making that catch. Spun down at the 27 by Ferris.
Cal taking advantage of soft coverage. JKS doing a nice job getting the ball out of his hands, finding his one-on-one matchup, and he's going to have to do the same thing here, 3rd and 5. If I'm Cal and I have a weapon like Jacob DeJesus in the slot, he's got to be part of some option route, some rub route. Get those linebackers and safeties thinking about where number 21 is. And that's exactly what Cal's thinking. He's lined up in the backfield.
Trying to get it to him. Contact, and the flag comes out. Martinez got out there in coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 29. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
He got there, just a contact before the ball got there.
He didn't get his eyes back either. BC doesn't like the call. There was a little bit of a push, and the push was exaggerated because DeJesus jumped, so he had no weight on the ground. It's a bang-bang call, but I do think it's a good call. DeJesus is going to jump, so the push looks worse than it actually is. Again, I want to sound like a broken record, but again, an accurate back shoulder throw is forcing the DB to get his head around. If he doesn't and makes contact, you're going to get that call every time.
That pass low, incomplete, was forward.
JKS makes the hard throws look easy, and then right there at an easy one at his feet. He'll want that one back.
He's gotten bailed out a couple of times by his receivers in this game. Low throws, and they've gone down to get him. He pat himself on the chest there as DeJesus comes by, saying, my bad. 2nd down and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. Raphael dancing his way to open territory inside of BC territory. Tackled at the 48. Davis and Cunningham making the stop, but 18 yards downfield.
It's an excellent job by Raphael, just picking his way through that defensive line, quickly getting up on the 2nd level linebackers, making that first guy miss, and then he just slithers his way through there. He has really shown up today, taking a lot of pressure off his young quarterback's shoulders, and been effective.
BC brings pressure up the middle. Picked up. Almost a sensational catch by Grizel. Cunningham in coverage, but Grizel just a little bit out of bounds. Couldn't bring it in.
It's been their favorite route. That little jump ball. Been saying the term high point a lot. Trust your big body receiver just a little bit too far outside his frame. Those corners now are very much playing that vertical route, trying to squeeze the receiver against the sideline. I wonder if they counter that with some sort of in-breaking route off of that.
Pressure off the edge, great catch. Looks like DeJesus is going to be just shy of that first down.
Good job by GWES getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Jacob DeJesus breaking across the defender's face, picking up some yards. Have to think here, if they went for it on 4th and 1 at the goal line, probably going for it again here if they don't get it.
They'll get it.
Cal's done a nice job all game. When Boston College gets points, they're responding with effective drives, staying on the field, stabilizing the momentum against them a little bit. It's a good push right there. Again, LJ Johnson's he's that bigger back, short yardage scenarios.
Rolling to his left, just overshoots Jordan King.
He's gonna want that one back. It was a poor throw right here. They motioned Jordan King back and forth to show that it was man coverage. They're dialing up 4 in the slot, and just an inaccurate throw. GWES has been hit a couple times in these recent drives. What if that pressure's getting to him a little bit?
Raphael, big hole, still on his feet inside the 30. He's gone over 100 yards.
And when that interior of the offensive line's working, it's a luxury because Boston College is standing up a lot of defenders trying to confuse the young quarterback, but when he can hand it off to number 1 and he's picking up gains, it's awfully effective. And have to think that's got to be the mindset again here on 3rd and short. Boston College only 2 defenders with their hand in the dirt.
Pressure. Sangapolatele will keep it, pick up what he can. It's going to be right by the marker. It's going to be a little shy.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a rookie mistake, too. As a quarterback, you're always taught when you're going out of bounds, stretch the ball out a little bit. Give yourself that extra 2 feet, because that 2 feet very well could be the difference. It was on this spot. Justin Wilcox wants a remeasurement, but right now it's 4th down. I thought GWES could have got that.
Sangapolatele's trying to get it himself. He didn't get much. He didn't need much. Let's see where they mark it. The linesman's coming in.
He didn't need much at all. The linesman on the top of the field looked like a better spot than the bottom. Boston College is celebrating because they stuffed him, but he really only needed like a foot.
If that. O'Brien doesn't like the spot. He's complaining about the spot. Now for what used to be a regular occurrence and almost never happens anymore, they're bringing the chains out. Didn't get it. Second time in this fourth quarter that Cal has been denied on 4th and short. Defenses have been bowing their backs all second half long. The Eagles continue that trend. Time for today's Experts at Work, brought to you by Principal.
We've been talking about the quarterbacks all day for BC. Dylan Lonergan done some good things early on in that first quarter, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, getting into the hands of his playmakers. His legs got involved for the first touchdown of this game. And then gwes-eas also getting involved. The high point throws, getting his playmakers the rock, and then the touchdown pass here to Jacob DeJesus, the speedy slot. This was really the one mistake that Lonergan made. JKS had an interception too. But then right after this, which ultimately set up a Cal scoring drive, his buddy Turbo Richard went for a home run run for BC to again take the lead in this ball game.
BC taking over here after the defense stuffed Cal's offense. Lonergan just 3 of 6 for 29 yards in that pick you saw in the second half. Only 4 first downs for this offense for the entire second half. It's really been that Turbo Richard run that got him the lead back, but that's been almost all of their offense here in the second half.
Really feels like it's going to come down to big plays and turnovers, which is the case at every level of football, but that's been the story of this game. Back and forth, both offenses doing some good things, both defenses doing some good things, but who can pop that big play and ultimately prevent the catastrophic turnover?
Turbo. Shy of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Stanley Soloway McKenzie on the tackle.
If you're Boston College, you would love nothing more than with 7:20 on the clock, up a field goal, can you put together a drive that bleeds a lot of clock? Obviously, you want points as well, but not preventing the 3 and out is critical here.
Up to 168, up at 170 yards rushing on the day. They need another 1.5 yards here to keep this drive going. Turbo. He'll pick it up.
And vice versa on the Cal side too. They've challenged their defense. He wants to show up. Man, what a day for Turbo Richard. They challenged him during the bye week. They challenged all the running backs and the offensive lines to show up. And man, he has today 183 total yards. They're feeding him the rock. I commend them staying with him too. Bill O'Brien, we mentioned it in the first quarter, he had 2 costly fumbles, one at Michigan State, one at Stanford. They're sticking with their bell cow.
Lonergan to throw. This time McDonald out of the backfield. Picks up about 4. Clock is just ticking down now inside of 6.
Your Cal and your defense got to come up with the big play. Whether it's a pressure, force a bad decision by Lonergan, trying to strip the ball out, cause a fumble.
McDonald cuts it back inside, falls forward. It's a big 3rd down and 3 coming up. Josiah Wagner on the tackle.
This is where this Cal defensive line has to show up big. They've been challenged as well. We mentioned Boston College's offensive line being challenged. But can Cal find a way to fit their gaps, stuff the run, and if it is a pass, get some pass rush?
Uluave, the captain.
Been a lot of running back wheel routes in this scenario. Do they do it again? Yes, they do.
Bring back some pressure. Richard couldn't handle it, as Lonergan had to get rid of it quickly. Massis in coverage.
That is an excellent job by Justin Wilcox and his defensive staff, Terrence Brown. They've been throwing these wheel routes all day long. This is the first time in the game they've had the corner trigger on that wheel route. They've been watching the tape. They've been watching the flow of this game. That's an excellent counter by that defensive staff, knowing what's coming and getting one of your best players on defense. Massis involved to make a play.
Florio to kick. The Jesus with the fair catch at the 12 makes it. And with 4:48 left to go, Sagapolatelli will come back on. Max Brown, Chris Cotter, Kenra Douglas with you. 4:48 left to go on this one. Another moment, Max, for the freshman to stamp his authority on this game, on this league, and on this Cal offense.
You said it. What an opportunity to welcome himself to ACC football for the true freshman, Jaren Sagapolatelli. Opportunity to lead his team down by 3. The mindset's just got to be get completions. Don't have to get it all back in once. But we all know that's part of his skill set, is pushing the ball down the field, finding his one-on-one matchups on the outside.
DeJesus in motion. The slot in the top of the field. Sagapolatelli over the middle, hits King. Takes what the defense gives him. That's 10 yards and a first down.
I really like King. We hadn't really talked much about him going into the game, but he's a bigger body receiver. Right there, they were lining him up as a really H-back tight end type of position. Can do the slot as well. These weapons for Cal, I think coming out of this game, they learned a lot about their receiver unit.
Give it to Raphael. Picks up a couple of tough yards. Max, you got to think also, this is a time that, the reason why you brought in Brian Harsin to be your offensive coordinator has to come into play here as well. You got the freshman quarterback, but you got somebody in Harsin that you really feel like can make the right calls down the field.
We've seen that today. He's made some strategic moves. Now late in the game, you know the tendencies of the defense. Any of those plays where maybe you were setting up double moves or anything like that, this is where you empty the clip.
Sagapolatelli to throw. Gets it to King again, met immediately by the defender. TJ Green, true freshman quarterback, true freshman nickelback, making the tackle.
Third down here, have to think. You got 3 timeouts, so maybe you punt it and trust your defense here, but to me, DeJesus has to be part of your scheme. Top of your screen. He's by himself this time with only a tight end. And of course, they motion him to the other side. Get that defense thinking.
Sagapolatelli changing it up. Play clock at 4. Rolls the pocket to his right side. Strike to King. All week long, we hear from the BC defense, got to make him roll to his right. And what does he do? Puts it on the number.
And he dialed up his own number. This is a young quarterback audibling the protection at the line of the scrimmage, saying, hey, I'm going to roll to my right. Offensive line, slide to the left. That's elite quarterback play right there from a youngster. Game on the line, crowd's loud. You change the protection, you get it in, and you find a completion on 3rd down.
Running it. Raphael bounces it outside. Stiff arms the defender. Flag down way behind the play as Omar Thornton drove him out of bounds after a gain of 11, but let's check that marker.
Holding, offense number 56. First down.
That's a tough one.
Justin Wilcox is frustrated, to say the least. That's a couple times where, you love the cutting ability of Raphael, but he does it so aggressively. I almost wonder if, nah, you can't. That's still go the side of the football that you're planning to go to. Can't the defense? If the defender's in front of you, can't be grabbing his horse collar.
1st and 20. Sagapolatelli to throw. Steps up. Almost intercepted. Quan Williams hit Sangapolatelli, and Owen McGowan almost came up with the fluttering football in the middle of the field.
It's an excellent job by the Boston College defensive line, getting pressure with just 4 defenders. Flushing JKS to his left. Credit this defensive line, holding their gaps. Right there in the middle, big 55, Quan Williams. Lucky that wasn't picked. Very lucky that wasn't picked. Second forever here.
King in motion. Sangapolatelli has time. Grizel makes the catch. Ferris on the tackle. 2-minute timeout. Big third down coming up. Coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern. Got a battle by the Bay on the ACC network. Stanford hosting San Jose State in Palo Alto. Not only is it on the ACC network, but also on the ESPN app. Gorgeous shot of the Charles River. Boston, beautiful night, sunset. We got a beautiful finish to a football game here. Cal hopes they can extend this drive. It's obviously 4-down territory coming out of the 2-minute timeout, but it's 3rd and 11 here. BC showing a little pressure, and they're coming with it. Sangapolatelli gets rid of it. Knocked up in the air, incomplete. Isaiah Ferris defending on the play.
They put Ferris on an island, one-on-one. Grizel's had the better side of that matchup, feels like most of today. But that's an excellent job by Isaiah Ferris. We haven't said it once today, but both starting corners for BC out. So guys like Ferris and Max Tucker on the other side have been challenged all day.
4th down. Sangapolatelli, the freshman. The jump ball for Grizel. Incomplete, but a flag comes down. This time Ferris is going to get called for the PI.
Pass interference, defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Riley Johnson saying 15, but it was Ferris.
Those are just tough matchups. You're putting your corner one-on-one with a big body receiver. Let's see.
The number, it was number 16.
There you go. The fact that Grizel almost came up with that ball.
So to me, there's nothing at the end. I think it's before. I think it's right when he flips his hips. I don't think it's at the end there. But obviously a bang-bang call.
New life for the Golden Bears. Sangapolatelli rolling. Couldn't find King. Ashton Cunningham, who's done yeoman's work at a corner spot, defending on the play.
And this BC defensive line doing a really good job creating havoc for not really pressuring, at least not on that play. 4 guys getting pressure. Right here, if I'm Cal, I'd look to Jesus' way. Defense play, maybe playing a little bit softer, trying to prevent the big play. That's de Jesus' specialty, finding that soft spot in the zone, 5 to 10 yards down the field.
He's at the top of your screen. Grizel on the bottom. Sangapolatelli. He can run if he wants. Throws downfield. Has his tight end in mini. Inside the 10. He'll score.
JKS loves rolling to his left, or at least getting flushed to his left. That is an excellent job by a young player, keeping his eyes downfield, finding his tight end. And Mason Minnie, the transfer from Idaho, getting in the end zone to put the Bears up.
Meyer with a big PAT to make the advantage 4. And he hits it. 51 yards. The strike to Mason Minnie.
For a young quarterback to navigate the pocket, got every temptation to tuck it and run it. He says, nah, I'm a pocket passer. Keeps his eyes downfield, rips a tight spiral through every layer of the defense. And he had to know it right when it left his fingertips, putting it on a spot and allowing his tight end to go do something with it. It is so impressive that this Cal team puts the keys in JKS's hand, says go win us a game. There's no sense of him being a young guy. There's no sense of we got to protect him or we're worried about him or we only can call certain plays. They feel like they have an absolute baller as their signal caller. He's shown that through the first month of the season.
That man right there thinks he's got one too, and there's still a minute and a half left to go in this game. And as we said when Sangapolatelli took the field, we'll say it again when Lonergan takes the field. An opportunity for him to put his stamp on this program early. Short man takes the kick. Just to make sure he hangs on to it. Took a lick, but does hang on to it at the 26. These two quarterbacks have put on a show for us tonight. It's Lonergan's turn here in the second half. He's just 4 for 8 for 33 yards hitting that pick. You can flip that script around here in the next minute and a half.
And it definitely feels like, I know the stats right there don't necessarily look as pretty, but it feels like Lonergan's played really well today. Hasn't had the long touchdown, but has operated the offense well, and he's got an opportunity right here. Minute 30, 2 timeouts. A lot of the same mindset that JKS had applies to him here. Just get the first completion, take what the defense gives you.
Turbo Richards had the huge game in the backfield. Lonergan, Bond. Lonergan's gonna throw it to his man. 11 in red, being checked by Zeke Massis, and he comes down with it.
And we haven't called Lewis Bond's name a lot in this second half. That was an absolute dart right there. That was an excellent throw by Lonergan. I thought he had someone open underneath, could have got him. Forced issue to his playmaker.
Flag down, we had movement for Boston College. That's Bond's first target in the second half. You're right about that. Hadn't mentioned him at all.
Start. Offense number 2. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down. That's also qualifies for a 10-second runoff. However, Boston College has elected to use their second charge timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. So 30-second timeout, Boston College.
That is the 13th penalty for 105 yards against BC today.
I'm a little confused. I would rather have 2 timeouts in 63 seconds than 1 timeout in 73 seconds. Unless he just wanted to regroup his guys. That, to me, doesn't make sense. That must be it. He wants to regroup his guys. Must feel like they're disoriented after that penalty, not getting lined up.
I'm just impressed with the math. Those 3 degrees you've got hanging on the wall.
Right after I said that last week, I had my college group chat, like, nice flex, Max. I was like, I wasn't flexing. Cotter teed it up for me. I'm no brainiac. I just was in college year-round for 5 years at 2 different schools. You just show up to class and get a degree at the end of the day.
And at the end of this day, it's 1 timeout right now.
And we'll be back at Pitt next week, too. It'll be a little bit of a homecoming.
We will. We'll have BC at Pitt next week. BC hoping to get back in the win column before we get into the Steel City. Lonergan, tight end, watch out here. Took a big hit. Held on to the ball, but didn't make much of a gain. Wagner on the hit. That was a big hit because it keeps the clock rolling.
And now that BC's behind the sticks, Cal will give that to them all day. The underneath stuff and then rally to make a tackle.
Lonergan. Again, his Chudzinski makes the catch out of bounds. And And now we've got a big play here.
That's a nice job by Chudzinski for a true freshman to get popped like that on the play before, and then you respond with getting a catch and your feet in bounds. Good job of the young tight end.
3rd down and 3 with under a minute left.
The previous play of a completed catch is under further review.
They're going to make sure that Kalen Chudzinski wasn't bobbling it when he went out of bounds.
I was hyping up the youngster, and then at first glance, that looks like that left toe is on the white.
Toe, yes. He didn't bobble it, but that toe right there, that's got some white.
Those size 15 or 16 cleats not working to his advantage. Yeah, that looks, you can clearly see the color of his toe on that white line.
If it's reversed, it's going to be a huge call in this game because you go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and, is it 13?
You're always taught as a receiver or a tight end when you're by the sideline to kill your feet, as they call it. Don't extend them out, have them die. You'll fall down as a result, but it'll make sure your feet are behind you and in bounds.
Our referee today, Riley Johnson, who has been busy. In concert with our replay official. Ruling on the field was a completed pass. Looked like to us, as we saw the replay, that Chudzinski's left foot hit the chalk.
There was the bang-bang play on whatever this call ends up being, and the bang-bang spot for JKS by the first down early on in this fourth quarter. Literally coming down to a matter of inches in this game.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Wow, okay.
That to me is a shocker.
It's a break.
That to me is a shocker.
And it's a good break for Boston College. Now can they take advantage of it?
I guess it's a call on the field was in bounds, not enough to overturn it. To me, there was enough to overturn it. I'd be very frustrated if I was Justin Wilcox.
No time to dwell on it. 4-down territory for BC. Lonergan's 3 for 3 on this drive. They'll bring Turbo back into the backfield, and now a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And you can understand Coach O'Brien's frustration. These are unforced errors.
And it just totally changes the page of the playbook that you're on, going from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. 3rd and 3, you very well could run it, whole playbook open. 3rd and 8, pretty much have to pass it, but you have to pass it with under a minute left.
Lonergan to throw. Looking for Bond, overthrows him. Once again, Wagner in coverage. He's done a nice job from his nickel spot. In coverage all afternoon long.
He has, and that's a tough assignment on Lewis Bond. Here we go, 4th and 8. That 3rd and 8 call was probably your favorite call if you're Will Line in terms of trying to dial up Lewis Bond. What's your counter off of that? Do you have another play that you can try to get 11 some freedom? They're going to line up Lewis Bond and Reed Harris right next to each other on the bottom of the screen.
Second timeout. Cal. First of the half.
Justin Wilcox wants to talk things over with his defense. Terrence Brown, co-DC defensive backs coach. Fixa Odo, also co-DC, the linebackers coach on this team. So Odo is down on the field. Brown is up in the booth. Here you see Coach Brown far right. Makes the defensive calls.
I was the scout team quarterback at USC for a few years against Justin Wilcox as our defensive coordinator, and his DNA is to bring pressure. If BC doesn't spread him out wide, I'd expect him to bring some exotic pressure, and try to force the ball to the hands quickly. Bill O'Brien knows that, so they're going to go empty. Harder to pressure an offense when they're in an empty formation.
4th down and 8. Lonergan, pressure comes, gets rid of it, has Bond. It'll be a 1st down for the Eagles.
That's an excellent job by Dylan Lonergan. Game on the line, you hang in the pocket, you find your playmaker, get the ball out of your hands with an accurate throw. That's great quarterback play and excellent receiver play as well.
Lonergan steps up.
Yep.
Flag down. Tried to get it to Reed Harris. Massis was in coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 5. Ball was placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
I felt like Harris came out of his break and the ball was already on him and probably wouldn't have been able to make that catch anyways.
And he was holding him the whole way. Massis, who's played well. This has been a theme the past 2 drives. Boston College's big-bodied receiver. He's getting grabbed. Tall assignment for a corner. Said the same thing on the other side with Tron Grizel for Cal.
Lonergan on 1st down. Has his man caught inside the 10. Harris again. It'll be 1st and goal with 23 seconds left. And BC has a timeout on the board. They'll spot it at the 5.
What a throw and what a catch. Again, Lonergan holding into the pocket. 2 Cal defenders right there. Puts it where only his guy can catch it. Reed Harris circling back around and making the play.
Coach O'Brien is livid at the 5.
Game clock operator, let's put 23 seconds back up on the game clock and start it on the snap of the football.
BC's got the 1 timeout. Lonergan 5 for 6 for 68 yards on this drive.
Take another look at this catch too. Reed Harris, excellent job coming down with that thing. Check that, going right to the play.
Clock will start on the snap. BC's got the 1 timeout. Turbo's in the backfield with Lonergan. Lonergan to throw. Looking to the end zone. Incomplete. Harris had it. He couldn't hold the catch through the ground as Olave was in coverage. He had it, hit the ground, the ball popped up.
And it was
close.
It was Cam Sidney who kind of ignored the football and just put a hit straight on Reed Harris. He didn't complete the catch though. Bobbling it all the way through. Man, they love these wheel routes. 20 seconds left, 1 timeout. You could try to run the ball. Had a lot of success through the air this drive though.
More whistles. Again, Cal defensively wants a timeout.
Timeout, Cal, 30-second timeout. Game clock operator, let's put 20 seconds back up on the game clock. Thanks.
So if you're in Lonergan, there's no rush. You got 1 timeout. You obviously don't want to take a stack. That would be the worst case scenario. But you don't have to rush in terms of getting the ball out of your hands quickly. You're just playing normal football here.
BC started this drive on their own 25 with 1:26 remaining. They've used 1 timeout on the drive. They still have 1 in the bank.
And Kenra's interview with Coach O'Brien was so much about the chunk plays down the field. Those have showed up in this last drive. You got Bond and Harris together on the top of your screen.
Bond in motion. Lonergan looking his way. Over the middle. Intercepted! Picked off by Luke Farrelly. Flags all over the place as Cal celebrates.
They've been talking about the consistent improvement of this young man all off season. Cade Olave gets a lot of the headlines. Luke Farrelly reading the QB's eyes, stepping in front of that passing lane and coming up with a huge pick. He'll read the eyes of Lonergan. Linebacker right in the middle of the field, steps in front of it, comes down with it.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike, number 41 on the intercepting team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. First down, Cal.
That'll be a 1-yard penalty as Farrelly chucked the pigskin.
And that is number 41's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
What a great moment for him too. This Cal defense brought in linebackers to compete with him. Taggart from BYU, Boom Jock from Colorado State, but the redshirt freshman who's really coming along, homegrown guy, beat those guys out. And we're also seeing why that penalty was catastrophic. You would normally knee it, can't do that here.
Sangapolatelli, now we get moving on the Cal offensive line. We'll move it an inch or so closer.
Offense, number 55. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
So you can't take a knee. A safety doesn't lose you this ball game. What does lose you this ball game is a botched exchange and a potential touchdown for BC. That's your biggest concern right here. Make sure you get this snap. I would imagine you do a quarterback sneak, and that defensive tackle, I'm doing whatever I can to dislodge that snap.
More movement.
False start. Offense, number 54. Half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
Move it another inch closer to the goal line.
I'm sure those defensive linemen are barking, all hugged up in the A-gap. Got to get this clean exchange. I've never seen an offensive line. All guys are in the end zone.
Sangapolatelli pushes the pile just enough, about a foot. And BC will use their last timeout.
Third and final timeout of the half. Game clock operator, let's put 12 seconds back up on the game clock. Thank you.
I would imagine a lot of head coaches around the country are clipping this play about understanding football to not have that 15-yard penalty, as you're seeing JKS hobble a little bit here.
You don't want that. But you also don't want to put in, nothing against Devin Brown, but you don't want to put in a quarterback who's hadn't taken a snap since the first half.
Yep.
And just one snap at that in the game in this moment under center. So Sangapolatelli will come back in. He can handle this one snap. It'll be a huge road win for Cal.
Welcome to college football. They're still kids.
Headbutt from the defensive tackle.
Until Cal's pointing the other way. Boston College, I'm sure, is trying to simulate the cadence to create havoc. That is illegal. It's a penalty on the defense if you do so.
Offside, defense, number 88 with contact, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Sedarius McConnell on the zero technique, headbutting the center. He'll move it 5 yards, and now Sangapolatelli can take a knee.
What a game, back and forth.
And that'll do it.
What a game. Saw a little bit of everything. Credit that man right there, Luke Farrelly, with the game-clinching interception. And Justin Wilcox, after a tough loss last week for San Diego State. They were getting national headlines. They were 3-0, felt like they should enter conference play 4-0. San Diego State snuck up on them. They respond this week with their first conference win.
They also, after getting shellacked 34-0 on the road last weekend, went on the road again and traveled completely across the country to Boston for this one, and they were down 14-0 in the first quarter, early in the first quarter, and that man right there, his first pass attempt was intercepted.
For being a true freshman, threw a pick early on in this game. Demeanor wasn't changed one bit. You can tell why they think he is he's special.
Jaron Kiave Sangapolatelli standing by with Kendra Douglas from the field.
All our guys, we trusted in each other and we trusted in him. But, you know, just the fans coming out and showing love, you know, it's just a great testament how deep our fan base is and, you know, how much love they always show to us.
You find Mason Minnie for that 51-yard touchdown to really put you guys up on top. Just walk me through that play. What did you see?
They played a cloud coverage to the boundary. I stepped up. Safety kind of came down. He seen me stepping up. I just put it right over the top. You know, my whole line was blocking their butt up the whole night. You know, receivers were making great catches and running backs were running downhill. You know, Mason Minnie caught that catch and he just took it to the house. The rest was him.
You are a true freshman, but when you talk with your teammates, they all talk about your maturity. Just tell me, where does that confidence come from?
You know, the confidence comes from, you know, my Lord and Savior Jesus. And just knowing that with him by my side, I can do all things. And, you know, especially my parents, you know, my parents always just keeping me humble and just making sure when my time comes, you know, I'm ready for it. And, you know, especially with my coaches, preparing me throughout the whole off season, you know, just getting me ready for big games like this. You know, we had a great game today, and yeah, I'm glad we finished out with a win.
Jaron, congrats on the win. Thank you.
Thank you.
19 years of age. Boy, is the future bright for that young man and this Cal Bears team. What a road win.